All right, and kicking off the predictions for this podcast, we're going to start on the prelims in the light heavyweight division. You got a battle between Carlos Blackjag Ulberg, who fights out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand, coming into this fight with a record of 6 victories and 1 defeat, going up 1 defeat, I guess. I don't know why I said defeats. Going up against Tafon Nchukwi. He comes back with a record of 6 victories and 2 defeats. So, I think this fight is interesting, but I also believe that this fight should be a pretty easy one for Blackjag. And I don't think that Tafon Nchukwi is a bad fighter at all. I think that he's got a lot of power. His left high kick, his left body kick, anything from that left side, the left overhand, the straight left, the front kicks up the middle. That left side, the rear side, is phenomenal. Now he can switch. He's pretty elusive on his feet. I think he can switch orthodox and southpaw, southpaw to ortho, vice versa. He does move pretty well. But a lot of the shots that he throws are loading up. But the one thing I think he does do very well is strike off the break. That's something you're going to have to look out for when you're Ulberg, whose fight's pretty tall, long, and rangy. He's a tall, long, lanky guy, not lanky, but he's a tall, long, rangy guy, I should say. And he fights very long, and that's going to be a big weapon for him in this fight against Dadan. He's going to be landing that outside low kick, or I'm sorry, landing the inside low kick, landing those front kicks up the middle, trying to control the fight with the jab, control it with the 1-2, the 1-2 with the high kick wrapped around behind it. The problem is he's so long and rangy that he keeps his chin up in the air because he's so used to having that height and reach advantage that he can get away from shots that people would normally have to high guard, and he can just pull away from it. You saw it, get him in trouble against Kennedy and Shekwazu. And I think that it is a possibility that he gets clipped just like he did in that fight. Now, both these guys don't have huge experience, 6-1, 6-2. But Blackjag, Carlos Ulberg, has a lot of experience in professional kickboxing. And you could see it just by how calm, lackadaisical, and how, confident he is on the feet. Now, sometimes that confidence can bite him a little bit. In the fight against Fabio Charant, which was his last fight, he looked good. He was dominating the fight, but he did get caught at certain points. He got caught off the break. He got caught when he got rushed by Fabio Charant and got knocked off balance. Now, it wasn't technically a knockdown, but he did catch him because his chin's up in the air and he just kind of moves back in a straight line. But when he goes forward, he looks great. The 1-2, the left hook into the right high kick, the 1-2 right body kick, the 1-2 right high kick. Like, all of his combinations are crisp and clean, and he does have phenomenal technique. He's got way better technique on the feet than Tafon Nchukwi. And I've heard some people say that they think that Tafon is going to be able to use his wrestling in this fight. And to be honest, I don't necessarily see the wrestling being a huge factor here. I think that it's possible that he uses the wrestling to get to the over-under clinch position up against the cage. And then as he breaks off the clinch, maybe he lands an overhand left over the guard as he circles off. Or maybe he gets into the clinch, tries to rough him up, and lands an elbow off the break. I think that's possible, but I also think that Carlos Ulberg has that experience in kickboxing, so he knows how to fight in the clinch. I do think that Tafon is definitely the stronger guy, but I think the speed advantage, I think the long distance striking advantage, I think the combination advantage, the volume, the versatility, that all goes to Carlos Ulberg. And he's going to have to fight the same way he always fights. This fight is not going to be much different for him with the, having to adopt his style. He's going to have to keep Tafon Nchukwi at a distance. He's going to have to poke and prod at him. Jab, right inside low kick. Jab, right inside low kick. Jab, fake the jab. Left hook, right body kick. Jab, right cross. 1-2, step off. 1-2, fade off. 1-2, 2-frame lead body kick. Like, he's going to just have to do what he does, and he's going to have to style on him. Now, I think Michael Bisping made a comparison to Luke Rockhold with Carlos Ulberg because he has that swagger about him when he's on the feet. When he looks good on the feet, he did it against Fabio Charant. He drops his hands a little bit more. He moves around a little bit more, and he does have that swagger in his step. But sometimes he's so lackadaisical and so overconfident that you can bum rush him, close the distance, pressure him, and land on the chin. Now, I do think that Tafon Nchukwi can do that. I do think that if he says, you know what, I'm done, I'm not playing this game no more, and he gets Ulberg up against the cage, maybe he walks forward, lands a left body kick, Maybe he walks forward, lands a straight left, a right hook, cuts him off, switching stand or you know, hip bumping and shifting to his lead right side, and then cuts him off. And as he backs up, boom, a left overhand, boom, a left hook up against the fence. Because when you're backed up against the cage, you can move forward, left, or right, but you can't move backwards. And when you're a long, tall, rangy guy and you're used to having that reach advantage, you keep your chin up and you just kind of back away. But when you're circling away, people can trap you up against the cage, and Nchukwi can land that left body kick. He can land that left front kick up the middle, and then he can fake it and boom, come over the top of the overhand left as Ulberg circles off. I do think Ulberg has a decent chin, but it does worry me a little bit here against Tafon. I think that if Tafon does land on the chin, whether it's a high kick, a left overhand, I do think that there is a possibility that he cracks the chin of Ulberg. We saw it get cracked against Kennedy and Jekwazu, and I think Tafon hits harder. And I think that if he's able to pressure Ulberg and get past that reach advantage, that distance control, get past all of his, sharp, clean, technical kickboxing and make it a dirty fight, it could be a long night for Carlos Ulberg, and the Don might shut the lights out. But in reality, I think that this is going to be a showcase fight for Carlos Ulberg. I think that this might be the best we've ever seen him look. I think he's going to use that long distance striking. I think he's going to use those front kicks to the body to slow down a pressure fighter in Nchukwi. I think he's going to go 1-2, cross into the rear teep kick, jab, lead teep kick, jab, lead body kick, left, jab, left hook, right body kick, 1-2, right high kick, jab into the right high kick, left hook into the right high kick. He's going to mix up his combinations, but he's going to play smart, and he's going to just pick them apart over those 15 minutes. And I think eventually he's going to land one of those right high kicks on the chin of Nchukwi and knock him out. So my pick is Blackjag, or Carlos Blackjag Ulberg, to defeat Tafon Nchukwi via a second round knockout with a right high kick, breaking right through the guard and just knocking him out cold. But a big win here, in my opinion, a showcase fight is going to be on the horizon for Blackjag.